It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. What a weekend it has been, particularly for Spain. Sports fans in the country had much to cheer about. The Euros and the Wimbledon have given birth to two solid superstars, young guns who are certain to go on to becoming top sporting icons for their country in the years to come. Carlos Alcaraz first sealed a dominant win over Novak Djokovic and then wished his compatriots over in football to triumph over England to lift the Euros title. If it is Alcaraz leading the charge in tennis, Spanish football is never going to be the same with Lamine Yamal shining bright on the global stage. What makes these two superstars special? That's coming your way. We also get you a ringside view into Copa America. Messi's tears turning into tears of joy has become quite the narrative of the story, but with security lapses marring the Copa America, we look at the USA as a sporting host and how events in the recent past organized in the country have experienced many a roadblock. And a bit of cricket too to round it all up. We are speaking of chaos and confusion, so obviously Pakistan comes to mind first. Will the Champions Trophy see India participate in Pakistan, or are we heading for yet another epic clash off the field? But first, a look at the headlines in Sports 360. Starting with cricket, India beat Zimbabwe by 42 runs in the fifth and final T20 International. Put into bat first, India posted 167. Sanju Samson top scored with 58. Mukesh Kumar in response picked up 4 wickets as Zimbabwe were bundled out for 125. With that, India has clinched the 5-match T20 series 4-1. In football, Germany's Thomas Müller has announced his retirement from international football. This after Germany failed to win Euros at home. Müller, in his 131 matches for Germany, has scored 45 goals. He was also part of the 2014 World Cup winning team. Over in tennis, Barbora Krejcikova clinched her first Wimbledon title. Krejcikova beat Jasmine Paolini 6-2, 2-6, 6-4. Despite losing the second set, the Czech player held her nerve to win the third and final set. This was Krejcikova's second Grand Slam title. She won the French Open in 2021. Over in basketball, Indiana Fever beat Minnesota Lynx 81-74. Caitlin Clark scored 10 of her 17 points in the fourth quarter to lead Fevers to victory. The Fevers have now won 3 of their last 4 games so far. And in golf, Spain's Sergio Garcia clinched LIV Andalusia tournament. He was initially trailing India's Anirban Lahiri but caught up with him on the final day. They tied and Garcia won the playoff with a short putt. This was the first title for Garcia in LIV golf since he joined in 2022. National Spain Day is celebrated on the 12th of October every year, a day when Spanish legacy is remembered and honored the world over. But for all Spanish sports fans out there, July 14th would come very close. Carlos Alcaraz won his 4th Grand Slam title, and that too on English soil. And just a few hours later, his football compatriots clinched the Euros title by beating England in the final. Nothing could be more poignant than this. Spain won a historic 4th Euros title after a 2-1 victory, and Spanish fans the world over were elated. The best part, of course, Spain's success story in this tournament has been scripted by two youngsters who stood tall amid superstars in the sport. Two young guns decimated England on the night. A star-studded England lineup of Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden and Bukayo Saka, all demolished by 22-year-old Nico Williams and 17-year-old Lamine Yamal. Just like the opening goal for Spain, these two kids casually walked all over England to win their first international trophy. And here's the thing, Williams can still grab a pint of beer to celebrate the triumph. Yamal is too young enough to not get alcohol legally. A teenager muted all chance of its coming home. It took two kids to ruin the hopes of 56 million English fans. And given the magnitude of the tournament, you would think the pressure would get to them. Eventually, the big stage would be too much to handle. But it was the other way around. They weren't just calm and composed in the face of it, but were enjoying being in that moment. They loved the pressure and the expectations of all that came with it.
They are just two kids who are on top of their game. Both Nico and Lamine have been very important for us during Euros. Not just for what they have done on the pitch, but for what they transmit to the group. Before the Euros final, I was nervous and these two were dancing and enjoying every moment. They love playing football, enjoy the game at all times, and by seeing them, it gives us the calmness and makes us feel that we shouldn't probably be nervous.
Maybe that's one of the secrets to their success, to Spain's football success. The two have enjoyed the game without feeling the pressure of it. The pressure of a big final. The biggest star to be born, the superstar emerging from this tournament, of course, has been Lamine Yamal, who's being celebrated everywhere, especially back in his hometown.
Very proud to be from the neighborhood. Long live Spain. Long live Lamine Yamal.
It wasn't just the final where Yamal and Williams showcased their true brilliance. Throughout the tournament, in fact, the duo has been clinical for Spain. Yamal was not only the youngest scorer in that semi-final at the Euros, but was instrumental in Spain beating France to get to the final. Williams, of course, was key in Spain's victory over Italy and scored another crucial goal in the knockouts. And it's their chemistry, too, that has given birth to a bit of a Spanish revolution in the sport. Two kids who've not only bossed over the best, but have shown their unique boyish charm in the sport. If not scoring goals, you'll catch them dancing, celebrating each other's success, and forever in admiration of each other.
We understand each other perfectly. He creates a lot of spaces for me, and I do for him. Because if a defender has to focus on one of us, the other one will have a one-on-one chances. We are like brothers. I have him as my little brother. I love him a lot and I'm really proud of him. He's doing incredible things with just 17 years, and I hope he keeps growing like this because he doesn't have a ceiling.
Williams says Yamal has no ceiling. What a thing to say about a teenager, but that is bound to happen if you've received the Messi touch. This famous photo, of course, of Messi with Yamal as a little baby Yamal went viral last week. And of course, Yamal, who himself plays for Barcelona, has been a long-time fan of Messi. And before this final, Yamal in fact hoped that Messi would win Copa America and Spain would win Euros, so that they both could come face to face in Finalissima. Now, that's another delicious chapter that is for another day. Today is to celebrate youth over experience, to celebrate fearless play over the burden of a past. Spain's kids taught some of the best in the business in England, a lesson in not just football but life, while England perished in the burden of the chance of its coming home and the pressure of trying to rewrite a legacy. Spain showcased a freedom of expression that has now made them strong favourites on the global stage yet again. 2024 has been a year of splurging. Football club Real Madrid spent millions to sign up Kylian Mbappe. Cricket fans spent close to $175,000 a ticket to witness the T20 World Cup match between India and Pakistan. And if that didn't amaze you, Hold on for this. Tennis lovers paid more than $335,000 a ticket to watch the marquee clash between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic at the Wimbledon Final. While steep ticket pricing is one thing to talk about, the story, at least for a lot of fans spending tons of money to watch a 21-year-old tennis superstar come of age. At such a time, at such a young age, Alcaraz has already won his second Wimbledon title, beating Novak Djokovic in straight sets. And after tennis's big three, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic himself, Alcaraz is becoming the next big poster boy for the sport. But did the big billing face-off between Alcaraz and Djokovic justify the ticket pricing? Take a look.
What can a year do in an athlete's life? It can make you world number one if you're tennis star Yannick Sinner. You can go from being a hero to a villain and a hero again if you're cricketer Hardik Pandya. And if you're Lionel Messi, you can win back-to-back Copa America titles. But what if you are Carlos Alcaraz? A year in his life shows just how far his net worth has accelerated. So much so that fans have paid through their noses to watch the 21-year-old dazzle everyone. To be fair, the monies speak of the battle that they were all looking forward to, the Wimbledon Final between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. But it ended up being a rather one-sided affair. Alcaraz lifted his fourth Grand Slam title. The Spaniard beat Djokovic in straight sets to defend his Wimbledon crown. And while the victory was iconic, the final had more talking points. The cheapest ticket for the final was priced at $10,000 and the most expensive ticket to witness the final was close to $335,000, one of the most expensive events in the history of sports. The most expensive tickets in sports. MLB, the Chicago Cubs versus Cleveland Indians went for almost $1 million. The Super Bowl, the 49ers versus the Ravens, almost $420,000. The Wimbledon Final, Alcaraz versus Djokovic, $335,000, and Pacquiao versus Mayweather, almost $180,000. It even surpassed the iconic Pacquiao versus Mayweather clash in 2015. Such was the craze to watch Alcaraz take on the tenacious Novak Djokovic, and it came close to the 2013 Super Bowl ticket prices. Such has been the rise of Alcaraz. Fans are more sure than ever now that after the big three, it's players like Alcaraz who will take men's tennis forward. Even cricket great Sachin Tendulkar tweeted his appreciation of Alcaraz, saying hereon, Alcaraz would rule the tennis world. His idol Rafael Nadal congratulated him right after the victory. The legends, the fans, they have all recognized Alcaraz to be not just Spain's sporting sensation, but also that of the tennis world. And the records prove it. At 21 years and 2 months, Alcaraz has won 4 Grand Slam titles across 3 surfaces. At the same age, Federer, Nadal and Djokovic combined had won as many Slam titles, but that too on 2 different surfaces only. Alcaraz isn't just winning, he's doing it better than the big three. But it's not like Alcaraz has had a consistent ride all through. After the Wimbledon triumph in 2023 came a slump with injuries and lack of form. Alcaraz began to have a string of losses across ATP events, but the youngster bounced back and clinched the French Open title, and weeks later stormed the final to clinch a second title at the hallowed turf of Wimbledon. And he's hungry for more.
At the end of my career, I want to sit at the same table as the big guys. It doesn't matter if I've already won 4 Grand Slams at the age of 21. If I don't keep going, all these tournaments for me, it doesn't matter. I will try to keep winning and end my career with a lot of them.
It is Alcaraz's spirit and resilience that make him an icon in this era. Even after setbacks early in the year, Alcaraz has held his cool. And with this win, he sounded off his intent rather clearly. The road to supremacy goes via him.
The weekend clearly belonged to Spain, whether it was stamping their class at Euros, claiming Wimbledon, and of course the Copa America. Argentina and Spain, what's the connect really, you ask? Well, Spain's favourite son, Lionel Messi, lifted his 4th international trophy in 2 years. And what a dramatic game it turned out to be, with Lionel Messi getting injured during the game and of course getting subbed. Messi was livid, he was in tears as he couldn't take, or at least what he believed, he couldn't take Argentina over the finish line, but Lautaro Martinez came off the bench to score the only goal in the 112th minute. That was enough for Argentina to beat Colombia in the final. But we're not talking about the triumph or the Messi magic or the lack of it. The focus is on USA. The country has come under the scanner for all the chaos that has marred the tournament. Before the start of the final, of course, many fans forced their way into the stadium without tickets, causing a bit of a delay in the final, leading to a scuffle between the security and the fans.
Just one by one.
What is it about Florida and sporting mishaps? Of course, first it was the T20 Cricket World Cup matches being washed away and no preparation properly in place for the grounds to come back and have matches to take place. And then, of course, it was utter mayhem outside the Hard Rock Stadium in Florida. The security was compromised, fans were enraged, and a showcase event was affected.
We've been here for an hour and a half outside the stadium. We paid $10,000 for 5 tickets and we are still outside and they don't open the gate. I hope the World Cup, which is going to be in the United States, won't be the same. The organization has been terrible. We have tickets, they won't let us in. They overflowed when they opened the gates. They let people in who didn't have tickets.
And here's what makes this a lot worse. This was not the only ruckus to cast a shadow on the tournament. During the semi-final encounter between Uruguay and Colombia, Uruguay players were involved in a brawl with fans, not because Uruguay failed to make it to the final. Shockingly, it was because Colombian fans were attacking Uruguay players' families in the stands. Gruesome pictures of Uruguay player Darwin Núñez jumping into the stands to fight off fans who were attacking his family went viral. Núñez was also attacked by a fan in the process. This has also led to questions being raised on the security in place for the family and the seating arrangements too, because family members aren't usually put up in the same stands as the opposition team. Chaos, America, and poor organization rings a bell, doesn't it? Not the first time America has been criticized over their organizational faux pas. While it was security concerns in football, the T20 World Cup highlighted bigger concerns, from poor facilities for players to ISIS threat during the India-Pakistan match, and of course lack of preparation when it came to the pitches on offer. We're talking about the US, a country that has immense resources, the monetary weight, and all the facilities it can ever garner. And yet somehow they seem to be missing a few key tricks when it comes to hosting such events, like the Copa America. Now, what's more surprising is that US has hosted mega sporting events in the past. The Super Bowl comes to mind, of course, NBA Finals. All have witnessed massive turnout, attendance. They've hosted Olympic events in the past. So what's gone wrong here over the last few months? Is the United States only adept at dealing with sporting events that they are most familiar with? But they've been wanting to change that very image of being associated with just a few sporting disciplines and going beyond that. A major reason why they brought cricket to their shores. The FIFA World Cup, of course, the biggest and most complex football event, is set to take place in 2026. Is USA prepared? And it's not just that. Another Olympics edition is around the corner in some years, in 2028. The dynamics of sports organization and, of course, execution too has changed and is constantly changing. And USA somehow is failing to keep pace with it. There are some basic lapses that seem to have occurred with these two recently concluded mega events. Maybe a review of certain aspects that go into organizing these major events needs to be done, and very soon. India and Pakistan are on a collision course once again, and no, this isn't on the field, not yet anyway. The conflict is centered around the ICC Champions Trophy, the tournament that Pakistan is set to host next year. Pakistan is hosting an ICC event for the first time in nearly 2 decades. It's prestigious, it's a monumental shift in their own cricket history. It's a chapter that they are hoping to script successfully so that they can announce their return to international cricket as a host. So a lot rests on how well this tournament turns out. And any ICC event, as we know, to be a success relies heavily on India's participation and how well Indian cricket team does. According to a tentative schedule that came out some weeks ago, India is slated to be in the same group as Pakistan. The format is 8 teams being split into 2 groups. Then, of course, come the knockout stages. And India was set to play Pakistan in Lahore. India versus Pakistan in Pakistan. It doesn't get bigger than that. Just picture the eyeballs that fixture alone will generate. That's what Pakistan, of course, Pakistan Cricket Board is hoping to achieve. That's what they are pressurizing the ICC, the International Cricket Council, to help them achieve. And that's exactly what India doesn't want. They do not wish to comply with this schedule. Sources say that cricket administrators in India are not keen for their cricket team to travel to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy. Pakistan is crying foul. They are livid, and so are many voices in the Pakistan cricket fraternity, like former cricketer Salman Butt.
Pakistan have got the rights to host the 2025 ICC Champions Trophy, and it should be held in Pakistan. Like all other teams, India should also come to Pakistan. Pakistani fans want to see the Indian players play here. There are many fans of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. India's kabaddi and tennis team have visited the same Pakistan. Either you cut off completely or you try to be normal everywhere. You can't pick and choose, which they have been doing.
He's accusing India of displaying double standards. He says if Indian tennis or Indian kabaddi teams could travel to Pakistan, and they did that some months back, why can't the Indian cricket team? But that's an argument that just won't fly. The Indian cricket team has a huge following. There were terror threats that came out when India was set to face Pakistan in New York at the recently concluded T20 World Cup. Can the Pakistan Cricket Board give ICC and the Indian board 100% assurance of no security breach, of a smooth functioning of the tournament, particularly this fixture? There is an ICC meeting that is set to take place this month, and the PCB are trying their best to get the ICC to arm twist the BCCI, the Indian Cricket Board, into getting the Indian team to travel to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy. India surely wants to travel for the event, just not to Pakistan. The counter-proposal that has come up, and again along very predictable lines and tried and tested formula, a hybrid model. All of India games at a neutral venue, mostly UAE in Dubai. That's been carried out in the past, so why not this time as well? And if India progresses to the semi-final and the final, those fixtures would also be in the neutral venue, not in Pakistan. Pakistan, of course, do not want this. This hybrid setup would mean a division in revenue, a slash in their profits from sponsors, venues, ticketing and every other paraphernalia that comes with hosting a big ICC event. The added twist is this: Pakistan is threatening to pull out of the T20 World Cup later to take place in India if India doesn't honour the ICC Champions Trophy commitment of playing its matches in Pakistan. But can Pakistan afford to do this? Do they have the clout to threaten a withdrawal and get what they want? My guess, like some of yours, is the same. I'm afraid not. But this is surely one very, very interesting subplot that is going to unfurl in the weeks to come. Time for last serve. So many major sporting events are already out of the way, but the biggest of them all is coming up. Paris is gearing up for the Olympics. France football legend Thierry Henry kicked off the torch relay. The relay will now pass through some Paris's iconic landmarks like the Notre Dame Cathedral, the Louvre and the Grand Palais. Take a look.
We're in the heart of Paris. The flame has arrived. The countdown to these Olympics is officially underway.
That wraps up First Sports here today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care.
Former US President Donald Trump seems to have recovered from the